Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice and happy holidays. It is Christmas week, so we're going to be looking at Christmas music the whole week. I hope you'll forgive me, but we're going to start with something that is both from the classical path and from the metal path. So this will be Marco and Flor performing Ave Maria. Ave Maria is a song originally by Schubert, and I'm used to hearing it usually performed with probably a soprano and a piano, sort of in a sacred setting. So I'm very curious what these two singers from a symphonic metal band from Nightwish, what they're going to do with it, how they're going to add their twist to it, and also what they do to make it a duet. Let's get to it.
Mitä voisi ruveta nostaa ylöspäin ja rakentaa tänne kokonaisen tähtikartan tänne saliin. Myöskin tuolta ylhäältä, Lehteri. Nyt alkaa näyttää todella hyvältä. Ave Maria. Äänitin maa lapsien. Taas meihin katso, suojelen, kun poika syntymäpäivä on. Mä pieni ihminen turvaton.
I have to say, I usually hear this song performed in Latin. Ave Maria usually is performed in Latin. Obviously, this is a different language. This is not Latin that Marco is singing here. I'm guessing it's Finnish, just based on where he's from. And so I think it's Finnish. And I think that this concert was in Finland. I think it was. I'm not positive. So correct me if I'm wrong there. There's a couple of really cool things that he's doing. One of the very first things I noticed is that his ah vowel is really, really bright. So I know such a nerdy vocal thing to be like, whoa, look at the bright ah vowel. But instead of having ah, which I have kind of rounded lips, which a lot of classical singers would go towards that more rounded ah vowel. And this might actually come from Finnish too, that maybe the ah vowel in that language is really bright. I have sung it once before, but I don't remember if that ah vowel was bright or not. So instead of saying ah, which is maybe a little closer to AW or AH hybrid, the vowel is really far forward. So it's ave. It's kind of almost between an a and an ah. It's really, really, really bright. German ah vowels tend to also be really, really bright, as opposed to American ah vowels are usually a little bit more dark in quality or round. That's really interesting. And then I really like he's adding style on notes in different ways. He's choosing to ornament or add different notes to it in a slightly different way than I would have expected, which is cool. I hear him sliding off of things every now and then, and that was really fun, adding an extra note underneath and then doing a little kind of sigh right off of it. And then also I definitely heard him at one point have a little more lilt in his voice, which reminded me of the Islander and how much I loved him in that. But this little lilt that he did really drew my attention to, oh yeah, that's right. This time signature has a subdivision of 3 going on. So you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kind of feeling. And he accents that at one point by leaning into that lilt in that subdivision of 3. I'm going to go back a little bit just to catch some of that again. It was really lovely. The language at first was what caught my attention the most, because I was like, wait a second, this isn't Latin. What is it? Okay. Oh, let's go back just a little bit more. Is it? No, right here. Listen to this ah vowel. love that slide off. Again, this slide off. But it's like a note and an extra slide. So right there was where he was really using a little extra articulation in his vocal line to give it a little more lilt, or like lean into that subdivision of 3. And there's a little more lilt. That's a fun little extra run there. Interesting breath there. Ah.
Ave Maria.
Very, very interesting. Almost like a blues styling right there on the Maria part. I really am enjoying the way that Marco has been riding the air the whole time. It really sounds like some singers just sound like they're playing with air. It's like he's like this like little feather that kind of swirls around in his breath support, essentially. And I love the way that he does that. And he does that in, like, he'll use the air to ride it up to a note or ride it down or do a little sigh off of a note. But he'll also use the air in a way to help influence his vibrato at times. So he'll let the larynx relax a little bit and have a little bit more vibrato just at the end, usually when the breath support is starting to wane a tiny bit. Very, very lovely. Let's keep going. Flora's voice gets me. So immediately, I don't know if you noticed, but I was like, whoa, check out that ah vowel. Once again, Flora's ah vowel had more roundness to it than Marco's did from that ah in Ave right away to hear. It's cool. I think it's really interesting to hear that she's ornamenting with really quick notes, whereas Marco tended to use a little bit more of the sighing. So he would sigh, he'd kind of hit a note and then sigh off of it. And her quick notes almost sound like they are part of a sigh. So it's similar, but different at the same time, which is really cool. Her tone quality is just really gorgeous. She also has great control of her vibrato, just like Marco does. Really, really, really beautiful there. But there's something about the way, for me, that I think it's partly in her breath control and phrasing. I think that's partly what gets me so much. So she has this gorgeous tone quality, but then she just is able to really drive the phrasing until the very last note. So it's longer phrasing. It feels much more classical in training to me. Marcos has a little bit more of a natural feel overall. And obviously, Flora is now singing in Latin. So hey, we get the best of both worlds. Okay, let's keep going. Yay, we'll get to have them together in just a bit. And now we have a little English. Woo! So many languages all at once. I like lots of languages. That's always really cool. I was really interested to hear her, the way she pulled in more belt into this. So sometimes Flora has more of a classical sounding voice, but she just weaves it into a rock stylization quite often. And so she's pulling in more of her belt here. And I really like that because she's still elongating it, almost like a rock ballad, but it has, again, it has that classical phrasing with it and some of the classical enunciation too. So it's this really gorgeous hybrid of both worlds that I just adore. I'm going to go back just a little bit, catch that end of her solo, and then hopefully catch this. It looks like a duet. So they're finally going to sing together. Yes. Wow. That was a fantastic sound, Flora. She did a little cry off of the end of that. That's one of the main areas where I would say, hey, that is not classical in nature. But the way she was holding out at first sounded very classical, and then you got this stylization at the end. Nice. So much more of them singing together. Oh, but their voices were blending so beautifully. Why did we not have like another 3 verses of them singing together? Okay, we're going to go back and catch that moment of them together one more time. And I'm going to rewind it again, back just a little bit before. Flora does something that a lot of singers will talk about as having an inner smile. You actually see it on her cheeks a little bit. But she's not bringing that smile out so far that it causes a bunch of jaw tension. But it really tells me she's really, it has a nice space inside. So that inner smile is kind of about that inside shaping, if you will. And that inside smile helps to have like more soft palate lifted to give it a better tone quality. It's I imagine that's one of the things that makes me love her just beautiful tone so much. So let's go back a little bit here. See, look at that. She's got her smile there the whole time. only complaint is that I wanted to hear more of Marco and Flor together. This little ending snippet was delightful. They have a blend that I really enjoy. Sometimes people want a blend where it sounds like it's one voice, but just maybe the same voice singing different pitches. For me, I like it when there are two voices that you can hear the unique qualities of each, but they have something in common that strings them together. So I feel like these voices are complementary. And I definitely get that from Marco and Flor, which is really lovely. Also just nice, simple harmony at the end. Perfect. Mwah. One of the things that I loved about this song, other than their blend, was the way that they brought different styles to it. Overall, it was so interesting to hear how Marco decided to, put sprinkles on top of that musical line. What did he want? Did he want like chocolate icing? Did he want, silver sprinkles? What was it? Of course, I'm thinking about holiday cookies right now because it's Christmas time. But it was so fun to hear him do more of the sighing effect, and he played a lot more with air and like a focused stream as well. And then hear what Flor did, and also hear how those vowels were very different between the two of them. It was just fascinating to hear that comparison back to back of how they would sing those lines and in the different languages. Really, really cool. Thank you to all of you that made this recommendation. I appreciate your recommendations so much. Please keep making those down below in the comments of this YouTube video. And also come and say hello to me on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. Although I will not be here on Christmas morning at 8 a.m., I plan to be sleeping in, and I hope that you sleep in too. And let's see what else. If you want to learn more about music, I have a music appreciation course that is now open. You can learn more about that at thecharismaticvoice.com. And you can come say hello to me on Patreon if you want to get to know me better and maybe play some video games together. Hope to see you somewhere soon.